I feed on your rage, but you're unaliving me. I know this is going to sound crazy, but I need all of you to listen to me. I need you to stop being so angry. I need your rage at everything to lessen. I need you to calm down, think rationally, and stop belligerently overreacting to every little thing that bothers you. I need you to stop hating each other. I need you to stop unaliving and loathing and fearing. You're unaliving us, and we don't know how to stop you. You see, my kind, we feed off the rage. We feed off overt emotions. It's the reason for our existence, to siphon off the excessive emotions so creatures can survive their extremes without damaging their souls. We've been around since before you. We lived in the ether between worlds and dimensions, feeding on the small amounts of excess from creatures in this world and others. So many of us began focusing on this plane of existence because even before the birth of humans, this world had so much food for us. You, however, are a bounty of tastes, like nothing we had experienced before. The ones that came before you had excess, but it was very primitive. Allow me to explain. The more basic a creature's mind, the more basic its emotions. Primates, larger-brained animals, and such are the only things that make excess enough to draw our attention. Mammals were beginning on this plane for us because until they formed thoughts and feelings, the only drive in creatures was to survive and procreate. Not much there to sink your teeth into. Then came mammals. They felt jealous. They felt anger. They felt joy. For the first time in this dimension, we had something to taste. It was small but delicious. A few of us saw the potential and decided to stick around and see where things went. Then the primates evolved. Oh, the lovely feast we had. They had so much rage for other groups of their kind, and the rage was so delicious we couldn't help but glut ourselves on the bountiful fruits. They kept evolving, and with every evolutionary step you took, more and more of my kind came here to feast on the overabundance of delights your world had to offer. We watched and fed and came to love what you offered us. Anger, sadness, pain, joy, fear, love, there was so much to dine on, so many new delicacies we'd never experienced before. I can't say for certain if my kind exists anywhere else now. There was just too much here to bother, and I believe we're all here now. As you grew into societies, we grew with you. Our vastness began to not only help you grow, but our growth protected you. We made your world safer and more stable. We used our massive essence to protect you from the heat of the sun. We didn't want what happened to the red planet to happen to yours. We cultivated and protected this wonderful food source. Did you know the red planet you call Mars used to be similar to yours when your son was young? Oh yes. There were creatures, there was water, and there was life. But the creatures were cold, emotionless things that we didn't pay any attention to. They couldn't sustain us. We didn't even notice their passing and the death of their world because we were so fixated on yours. I imagine had we had the range of emotions you enjoy, we would have felt guilt for not helping them. But we just didn't have that capacity. Unfortunately, we do now. You see, I don't think when we have created the possibility of you existed. You are such complex little creatures and you aren't even aware of how amazing that is. Alas, I'm getting off topic. After centuries of eating excess intelligence, I've managed to insinuate myself into what you call the internet. Such an amazing creation you've made, unique across all dimensions and so amazing. It's through this that I've found my way to communicate with you. I'm using what little of myself I have left to beg for your help. You see, we're all dying. You are unaliving us. You are destroying the very fiber of our existence and we can't escape you. We've instilled ourselves so directly that we don't know where we begin and where we end, only that we can't remove ourselves from this world like we used to. We couldn't have known those amazing little creatures that drew us here would become so overflowing with rage, fear, sadness, hatred, and so many other negative emotions. We can't eat it all. The darkness is consuming and unaliving us bit by bit. It drives some of us mad, and that's the worst of it. The very first time one of my kind went mad and died because of it, your kind had a war that unalived thousands. It was devastating to all of us and we didn't know what to do. We didn't know death before we met you. We didn't know our existence could stop. We thought, that can't happen again, that's not right. We were so blind to the bottomless emotions your species could create. That first war started because when that first one went mad, it regurgitated what it couldn't stomach anymore. It spilled all over your world. The hate, rage, and fear your species already had in you was amplified by what we already saved you from being thrown back on you. Centuries of loathing and sadness and terror concentrated just thrown on you. It was too much. We've seen so many wonderful things your species has created, but the horrors we've seen are heavier meals. I don't think we were created to be able to stomach the atrocities your minds are capable of contemplating. When you go to sleep raging and unable to think of anything else, then wake up capable of rational thought and processing again, we ate that excess for you. That's how we survive. We helped each other. Despite our best efforts, you started making so many excess emotions we just couldn't eat them all. Your species, you do horrible things to each other and we try to help, but it's just too much and we are dying. We are choking on the largest meals and being poisoned by too much food. We used to be able to stomach all you could offer and relish the different flavors. Now, all we can eat is your rage, your fear, your horror and sadness. There's too much of it for us to even sample your happiness, your love, your sincerity, and your kindness. It's not overflowing like your loathing. Some of us pass away slowly, fading away without influencing you directly. You're losing your protection from your sun because there are fewer and fewer of us every millennium. Your planet is warming up and those of us who don't go mad and return some of what's been unaliving us back to you still die. We fade away and you lose our protection. Please, help us. You have to start controlling yourselves. Control your anger. Try to be kinder and find joy in things again. Try to find goodness in your world and focus on that. You can save us, and in saving us you'll save yourselves. I know some of you already have plans to just relocate to another world when this one dies, but the mass majority of you can't, or wouldn't even want to. I don't know how many of us are left, but we are all dying. I'm holding on because after eating so many of your emotions I've grown to feel your feelings. And I love you. You can be so beautiful and noble and kind to each other that it can make an emotionless creature love and weep for your species. You're unaliving yourselves and you're unaliving us. Please, I'm afraid. I've never felt emotions before, but in my dying, I'm terrified. Not only for myself but for you, my dear creatures. What will happen to you when I'm gone? When my kind is gone from your world, what horrors will you visit on yourselves? What miseries could I have saved you from? How can I make you see the magnificence of your future suffering without us if you can't see what's happening in your world while we still live? Please, you have to do something. I don't want to die. I'm scared.